It's spring's turn to slowly come to an end. With June now here, it means that we're soon into the dreaded season that is summer. This morning I'm out at Eridge Rocks Nature Reserve. You might see and think woodland photography, but the woodland is secondary to what I'm hoping to capture with the camera this morning. And I mean, what a magnificent location this is to come out to. Eridge Rocks, located on the border between Kent and East Sussex, and it's these magnificent, beautiful sandstone rocks, which are just a beautiful subject to be able to find and shoot. And like I said last week, it's all about a little bit of variety. You think you're coming out here to shoot woodland photography, you're not. The woodland is just an extension of the rocks themselves. It's the rocks that dominate this landscape. It's just all about finding the right composition to try and come across all amongst this beauty, really. I remember coming out here last year, first time, just over 12 months ago. It was during winter, and of course during winter there's not the colour in the woodland, there's not the colour in the trees, there's not the colour in the whole landscape, really, in the whole shots that I managed to capture. It's a spot I've always wanted to come back to. I've been chomping at the bit to come back here over the course of the last couple of months. Ever since winter this year, to be honest. I've been telling myself, no, Neil, hang fire. Come out during spring, maybe even summer. And yeah, you might get a little bit more colour in this magnificent location. It takes my breath away just looking around here. It really does. It's just all about finding the right shots now. So I've come down to the valley floor where I'm surrounded by all these ferns, and it just gives a lovely shot looking towards the rocks. So they're surrounded by nature, surrounded by the trees. It's quite a cloudy day today. I'm not going to be able to get too much out of the highlights, I don't think, this morning, which is a little bit of a shame. But coming here in the springtime, in late spring rather than winter, just gives me a little bit more colour with these ferns. The shot that I'm aiming for today, I've got the ultra wide angle lens on, which is perfect for such a tight setting such as this one. But if I can go out to, say, what are we, about 18 millimetres, it just allows me to get everything into shot, and then I can maybe crop it so it looks a bit more like a pano in post. I know for a fact you can get up onto the rocks and see, get some lovely shots from above. So I think before I leave, that is something I'll go off and do. But for now, let's see if I can get this one particular shot. Spring is almost at an end. We're almost into the summertime, which, in terms of the seasons, summer's not my favourite time of the year as a landscape photographer, which I'll touch upon in a minute. How though are we almost into June? 5 months of the year already gone. Where has it gone? But spring, like autumn, really is one of my favourite times of the year to get out with the camera. All that real beautiful colour, especially here in the woodlands. Was able to capture some bluebells, some wild garlic. They were the big aims. Of course, it's not over yet. There's a couple more weeks to go before we're into summer proper. I always like to think that we're not into summer until the 21st of June, the longest day of the year. Got some poppies to come into bloom in the fields in the coming weeks, I should say. So, yeah, there's still a few bits to look forward to before we say goodbye to spring for another year. Summer though, summer is not my favourite time of the year as a landscape photographer, as I've mentioned already a number of times in this video. It's the time of the year where I find it really difficult to get out and do landscape photography, if I'm being honest, despite having the longer days. And that's one of the big reasons as to why summer can be a little bit irritating. Because you see, it's difficult to get out during sunrise, my favourite time of the day for a number of reasons. The main one being, of course, you get a location like this all to yourself, like it's just me. It's just me lost, all alone out here in the woods, all by myself. Birds singing, it's beautiful, it's so peaceful and tranquil coming out this time of the day. Of course, there's nothing to stop me going out of an evening. Longer days means I can get out for sunset, like what I did actually when I went to Leeds Castle last weekend. However, of course, the longer days, the sunshine, other people out enjoying these locations, you don't get them to yourself. Of course, I don't have any right to a location all to myself. Don't get me wrong, I do not ever think that. You never get a location to yourself, you never deserve a spot. You don't own these locations. So you've got to understand, you've got to share them with other people. That's always been one of my big mantras as a landscape photographer. It's not just the long days, it's the harsh light. The sun's up a lot earlier, goes up a lot higher, you get harsher shadows, which means I find it really difficult to find a shot in and amongst everything else that's going on. More chance of blue skies, although today it started out a little bit cloudy. Got a little bit of wispy cloud up in the sky. Some blue skies, but yeah, you go out in the mornings in the summertime and it's just clear blue skies, nothing in the sky, it's just flat, it's boring. Of course, summer isn't all doom and gloom, there's always a positive spin to put on anything. Could get out and do a different type of photography. Go and do street photography maybe, battle through my anxieties in that regard. Could always go out and scout a location. Come out to a spot like this, just as a random example. Might not be ideal for capturing anything during the summer, but can go out to locations, go, all right, this shot might look good if I was to come back in autumn, if I was to come back in winter, if I was to come back in spring. So yeah, there's definitely positives, there's definitely a positive spin that you can put on these sort of things, there really is. As you can see, my talking has brought me out on top of Eridge Rocks, where the views are just magnificent. It's truly amazing being up here. I'm sure I'll be able to get a good few shots from these particular vantage points, although I want to watch my footing. It is a bit of a long way down. These rocks are actually used as well for rock climbers, but it is mind-blowing to think that these sandstone rocks have been around for about 135 million years. Shows how insignificant we really are in the grand scheme of the universe, if I start getting a little bit philosophical. But what's even better about this location, it's completely free. Only a small car park, but it's completely free to come out here and explore. And also the walk's nice and easy. There's a few minor gradients, but nothing too taxing to worry about. Yeah, not a bad way to spend a morning, if you ask me. To admit, this has been another lovely trip out with the camera. I always enjoy getting out with the camera, always enjoy bringing you along for a little bit of company. Hopefully the shots I've been able to get today have been worth it. Of course, I won't know until I get back home and review them on Lightroom. How have the last 3 months been for you? Has spring been a good season? How do you feel about summer being on the horizon? However, I do think this is where I'm going to bring this video to a close. Thank you so much for watching. Like I say, I always enjoy bringing you along on these trips out. It's always lovely being out in nature regardless. But from me to you, you take care. And for now, it leaves me to say but one thing. Goodbye.